call, please.
Bob Bauman,
Here.
Bill Christensen,
Here.
Brady Crosby,
Here.
Mark Flaherty,
Here.
Keelan Haywood, Senator LaTanya Johnson, Jim Cantor,
Here.
Greg Marcus,
Fantastic. Is there? We have visual, audio, and visual. Welcome, sir.
Greg Marcus,
Here.
There's money.
Mayor Dennis McBride,
Here.
Alderman Jose Perez, Representative Jesse Rodriguez. Here. Omar Sheck.
Here.
Kathy Blumenfeld,
Here.
Lily Cox, Senator Rob Hutton, Gerard Randall, and Liz Sumner here. We have a quorum.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. First order of business is, we have someone else join?
Senator Hutton.
Senator Hutton. First order of business is any discussion and the approval from the meeting minutes from our last board meeting on October 25th, 2024. Any discussion? Seek approval.
Move approval.
Do we have a second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll turn it over to our CFO, Steve Marsh, for our financial report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, everyone. Today's update will be our last review of 2024 financial activity until Baker Tilly's presentation of the audited financial statements at the May board meeting. Overall, today's financial news regarding 2024 is positive and not materially different from the update that was provided to the board in October. But before we get into the numbers, a couple of quick updates. Number one, just yesterday, we received news that Moody's rating agency upgraded the rating on the district's senior lien debt from A3 to A2, and on the junior lien debt from Baa1 to A3. This is great news for the district and complements the improved rating the district received from S&P in November. The practical implication of this rating adjustment is that any future borrowing or refinancings will be cheaper for the district. And frankly, it's recognition from the outside world that the financial strategies recommended by management and endorsed by the board are sound and prudent. It's an incredible accomplishment, and really everyone in this room should feel very proud of the work done to get us to this point. Number two, regarding 2025, we continue to forecast the budget the board adopted in October. For your reference, we've included in today's packet the 25 budget income statement and capital budget on pages 17 through 20. We'll provide a more comprehensive update on 25 financial activity at the May board meeting. And number three, Baker Tilly is in process of conducting a preliminary 2024 audit field work. No issues or concerns have been identified thus far. The district's finance team will be spending the better part of the next 45 days preparing for their primary field work, which is scheduled to occur in March, and those results will be presented by Baker Tilly to the board at the May meeting as part of their final audit reporting. So let's get into the 24 review, and while I traditionally like to start with identifying the bottom line net income number first, and we did beat our budget net income in 24, which we'll talk about in just a minute, I do want to first summarize the significance of the financial successes we had this past fiscal year. When Marty and I presented the 24 budgets in fall of 23, we identified two specific outcomes we sought to achieve in the upcoming fiscal year. Number one was to show year-over-year growth in the district's unrestricted fund balance. This was an important goal for the district for several reasons. The unrestricted fund is the lifeblood of the district. It's a working capital management uses to support the ongoing operations of the business and allows us to make investments in our two most important assets, our people and our buildings. Without a stable and healthy unrestricted fund, business can't grow. In 2023, we had negative cash flow in this fund, which was planned for in order to make the necessary investments in preparation for the opening of the expansion, which further stressed the importance to show growth in 2024. And I'm proud to say we achieved that goal. The second outcome we sought to show was year-over-year growth to the district's restricted reserve fund. Annual growth in this fund has been a central component of the district's long-term financial strategy established in 2020 and most recently reviewed with you at the October board meeting. A robust restricted reserve fund serves as a critical mitigation strategy to adequately protect the district from an unexpected decrease in restricted tax revenue collections as a result of dramatic economic events. In 2024, we in fact did grow the balance in this fund to a level that exceeded what management believes is necessary to mitigate that risk. Thus, an opportunity formed to put those excess funds to work for the district, which ultimately resulted in the defeasance transaction the board authorized in October. This transaction produced three critical outcomes. Number one, it saved the district millions of dollars in long-term debt service payments. Number two, it created long-term future borrowing capacity and flexibility, which is the fifth prong of the district's long-term strategic financial plan. And number three, it resulted in bond rating upgrades from S&P in November and Moody's earlier this week, as I just referenced. This will lower future borrowing costs for the district. I can't convey how much I personally ruminate on the health of these fund balances, but I'm extremely proud of the work that both management and the board has done to get them to their current condition, which is ever the more extraordinary coming out of the economic conditions we faced during COVID. These balances are a position of strength for the district. In addition to these fund balance objectives we established for 2024, there are three other notable successes I want to mention. Number one, the completion of the expansion on time and within the financial parameters set forth in the authorizing resolutions adopted by the board in 2020 and in 2022. Marty and Mike Abrams from ICON will discuss the project life cycle in more detail in just a few minutes. But let me just say it's simply remarkable that this project was completed in such a successful way. And number two, and in part related to number one, excess investment income earned from project proceeds boosted the balance of contingency funds on hand and allowed the district to make additional capital investments in both the north and south buildings. The investments made this year will reduce pressure on future capital expenditure budgets, a strategy that will preserve the strength of our fund balances. And number three, I'd be remiss if I did not mention the significance of the events we hosted in 2024. The impact to our operating P&L was meaningful, of course, but the value these events generated in terms of awareness to our properties in the city of Milwaukee cannot be understated. In June, Sarah Mayo presented to the board the value the opening night gala had in terms of media impressions. The RNC event brought international attention to our campus and Milwaukee, and the Connect conference hosted in September exposed meeting planners from all over the world to our buildings and city. The dividends the district will receive from these events in terms of future business is invaluable and will keep our sales team at Visit Milwaukee extremely occupied going forward, which is a very good thing. Stable fund balances, long-term capital planning flexibility, a successfully completed expansion project, and a destination that is in high demand. The achievements of 2024 have created a future for the district that is healthy and full of opportunity. With that said, let's get into the numbers, starting with the event mix summary first, which is page 5 of your packets. Column C represents the number of events we actualized in 2024. Column B represents the number of events budgeted. You can see we fell short of our budget goal by 10 events, 319 compared to 309. You'll notice a big variance in our corporate meetings category on line 5. Typically, these event types contribute less to the bottom line than others, so the overall financial impact was minimized. And as you'll see in a moment, did not prevent us from beating our budget net income number. While we did not hit our event budget number, we did exceed last year's total significantly, and we believe we are well positioned to achieve the number we budgeted for in 2025. So with the event mix summary as the backdrop, let's get into the 24 numbers. We're going to start with the income statement first, page 7 of your packet, with column IDs E, F, G, and H at the top, which compares our annual budget to our annual forecast. To get right to the point, you can see on line 65, column G, we exceeded budget net income for depreciation and expansion debt by almost $4.2 billion. How did we get there? Well, scrolling up to line 14, column H, total operating income is up by almost 7%. Overall event revenues, as noted on line 1, 5, 8, and 9, collectively came in much stronger than budget by about $1.6 million. That's quite remarkable considering we hosted less events than budgeted. As discussed in October, you can see lines 10, advertising revenue, and line 12, parking revenue, missed budget expectations. However, we remain optimistic that we will see substantial gains in both of these categories in 2025. Moving down to line 27, column H, operating expenses exceeded budget by about 11%. Line 15, labor, line 17, contract services, and line 18, utilities are all over budget. And this is really a reflection of developing a budget around a theoretical operating plan for the North Building. I beat to death the topic of utilities in October, and I believe we are better dialed in what to expect for 2025. As for the other two categories, labor and contract services, there were a few contributing factors to this overage. One was the need to bring in temporary labor to backfill positions that we could not hire qualified candidates for, or due to attrition had to be filled temporarily as we went through the recruitment process. Temp labor on a per hour basis is simply more expensive for the district. And two, there were moments this year where we felt compelled to staff at levels greater than we expect to see moving forward due to training needs or due to having redundancy in the north building to protect against the unexpected. We look to have a more optimized labor model in 2025. You'll notice the event expense category, line 20 is over budget. This line item captures primarily those payments made to our arena tenants in the form of revenue share of food and beverage merchandise sales. The Admirals in particular had a strong ending to their 23-24 season extended playoff run, which helped drive up this number. Line 34 tax revenues is better than budget. And to be clear, these numbers represent actual collections through October, with November and December collections forecast at last year's actuals for now. So there is some potential for upside as these numbers go final in February. And line 35 interest income is also better than budget, primarily due to investment income earned on expansion project proceeds. As noted during the budget presentation, we expect this category to normalize in 2025. As for non-operating expenses, no new update on big variances since October. Line 49 Visit Milwaukee is up relative to budget by about $230K. This is due to stronger than expected city tax revenues earned in the fourth quarter of 23, as well as better than expected county tax revenues in 24. And line 50 legal services is up as Blackwell became the district's attorney of record in 24, and we've spent time working together to bring them up to speed on district business issues. All of this leaves us with a positive variance to budget of net income of almost $4.2 million, again noted on line 65. Pages 10 and 11 provide a current snapshot of our 2024 capital expenditures. Looking at line 43, you'll see that we're coming in under budget by approximately $205K. You'll see quite a few projects that were not undertaken, as noted by the $0 figures spent in the forecast column. Page 11 represents a number of items not planned for, but we didn't address this fiscal year. Overall, the focus of this year's capital spending has been on projects that do like safety, building functionality, building compliance, revenue generation, and contractual obligations. At present, the district is not concerned about meeting future capital maintenance needs. Pages 12, 13, and 14 in our packet for cash flow projections. First, to the restricted cash flows. The news is positive, as discussed earlier. You can see the fund balance decrease by $6.9 million this year. However, that is due to the defeasance transaction that we executed in November, and that cash outflow is noted on line 16. Had it not been for the defeasance transaction, the fund balance would have grown by $7.2 million. Page 13, our 25 restricted cash flow projection is illustrated here. You see we expect to grow the fund by almost $6 million. And as we discussed this past October, it's possible that management may seek authorization from the board later this fall to execute another defeasance transaction. That, of course, will depend in part on how strong restricted tax revenues come in over the next 8 to 9 months. Lastly, page 14 shows the unrestricted cash projection for 25. No changes from what we presented at the time of the budget. Again, we'll update the board in May on those assumptions. Both the restricted and unrestricted funds remain in a stable and healthy state, which is a position of strength for the organization, and is why Marty and I keyed in on those outcomes as part of the 24 budget process. Mr. Chairman said at the beginning of the presentation, the news is positive for 25, and management is set to build those successes in 2025. Who's my report?
Good, great stuff. Thank you, Steve, Marty, and the team. Are there any questions on the financial update from Steve? Okay. With that said, turn it over to our CEO, Marty Brooks.
Thank you
For the CEO report.
I'm going to deviate from the CEO report just for a moment. Oops, here we go. I just wanted to shout out to you, Steve. You are such a proactive steward of the finance of this organization. And while I'm very okay taking all the credit for the Feason's move. It all belongs with you and your team. It is amazing how you change your life, not you, just people. Please don't. But there was a time where thinking about ratings agencies, I would think of movies. What kind of rating is this movie? I've never gotten as excited as I have this past year, the past couple of months, hearing from ratings agencies from both S&P and Moody's to get this type of interaction with them, proactive reaching out to us and assessing our numbers. It comes from you taking a lead and working with Baird, and I just want you and the board to know this is the guy and this is the department. These are the so thank you, Steve. Anyway, off script, but it was good. Positive, I hope. I'm going to start my first CEO report of 2025 with a brief look back on what was a memorable year for the Wisconsin Center District. Certainly, the completion of the expanded and modernized Baird Center has to be the first thing that I mentioned. The activities leading up to the May 16th ribbon cutting and grand opening gala set a new bar for construction projects and for celebrating events in the region. In June, we hosted the gala for the first ever gala giveaway winner, Autism Society of Southeast Wisconsin. We subsequently announced the second gala giveaway winner, first stage. Their event will be in Baird Ballroom this April. And yesterday, we announced that we are now accepting applications for our third annual gala giveaway gift to a not-for-profit organization. Full details can be found at galagiveaway.com, and the deadline for submissions is February 28th. July saw us playing an integral part in hosting the Republican National Convention. The current and future presidents' national nominating conventions, the DNC in 2020 and the RNC in 2024, passed through Milwaukee on their way to winning top political office in the United States. In August, we welcomed Connect, one of the most important trade shows in our industry. Along with our partners, Visit Milwaukee, we also secured the American Society of Association Executives, ASAE, for 2034, giving us a full decade of promotion from Milwaukee to this mission-critical audience. Also in August, we introduced Extract One, a touchless AI-powered weapons detection system and screening protocol for every event at Baird Center. This new infrastructure makes Baird Center one among a very few number of convention centers in the country that require security screenings for all guests and staff. Our corporate partnership team, led by David Schneider, secured several sponsorship agreements, one with Frito-Lay that includes new product offerings and equipment updates for Levier restaurants. Free Energies Foundation is the official sponsor for the art collection at Baird Center, Patawanamie Hotel and Casino, and a multi-year sponsorship and service agreement with WM. Notable renewals include PepsiCo and Usingers. We're encouraged by the interest we're receiving in the new elements available in the expansion and modernized South Building by sponsors and potential partners. In collaboration with Baird and Bid 21, WCD sales, corporate partnership, and marketing departments developed and executed multiple activations in the Baird Community Commons on Valor Phillip, Wisconsin, and Wells Street. Specifically, a Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee Halloween event, an expansion of the Holiday Ornament Trail, a holiday tree display, 2 downtown employee appreciation events that entailed free coffee giveaways, and a moment of movement featuring a bar exercise class. As Steve mentioned in his report, you authorized the debt defeasance transaction, and our fiscal year end saw us beating 2024 budget. Since the October board meeting, Cirque du Soleil was in the Miller High Life Theater for the second year in a row, with technical and performance rehearsals for 4 weeks from late October through November, culminating with 9 performances over the Thanksgiving weekend. December featured a holiday-themed show in the theater, Macaulay Culkin, that included a screening of Home Alone and the family programming with a weekend of Paw Patrol events. The Miller High Life Theater has been offline since the middle of December in order for us to replace the 22-year-old carpeting. carpeting project wraps up next week. Then the band Goose returns to the Miller High Life Theater, this time for 3 shows that are on track to sell out February 6th through 8th. They previously played one sold-out show in the theater in September of 2023. In the Panther Arena, the Admirals are approaching the halfway point of their season and currently sit in the middle of the pack in the very competitive American Hockey League Central Division. UWM hosted a Dream City Challenge and welcomed 3 other Division I basketball teams to Milwaukee over the Thanksgiving weekend. They have 7 regular season home games remaining in this season in the arena. And the Wave are 1 month into their season and have already played 4 of their 12 home games. Also since October, WCD and Visit Milwaukee sales teams have closed 55 contracts for events as far out as 2029. Last month, Megan Setman from the district, along with Visit Milwaukee, attended IAEE Expo in Los Angeles. We sponsored the general session that provided us the opportunity at the beginning of the session to show the new fly-through video of Baird Center. Response from the attendees has been overwhelming. You'll be seeing this video shortly as part of Mike Abrams' expansion project wrap-up. Earlier this week, Megan, along with Visit Milwaukee, were in Houston attending the annual PCMA convention. The Professional Convention Marketing Association is a professional organization representing management of business events, conferences, and conventions, and it has more than 8,400 members worldwide. 2 weeks ago, we were the focus of a TMJ Wedding Week segment that was shot in the Baird Ballroom, promoting weddings in Baird Center. Megan and Lisa Vincent, a special events sales manager, did an amazing job selling our facility to host weddings. As part of the budget presentation back in October, and effective last week, we've increased our minimum starting hourly rate from $15 to $17 per hour. All existing hourly employees have had their rate adjusted anywhere from $1.50 to $2 per hour to be in line with and above the new hourly rate as part of our campaign to remain an employer of choice. Steve and I met with representatives of the city of Milwaukee on October 28th and December 17th regarding potential modifications to our pilot agreement. At the December meeting, we exchanged proposals and engaged in open and productive discussions. The next meeting is scheduled for Monday, January 27th, and I will report back to the board as progress is made as those discussions continue. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report. I'm happy to entertain any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Marty on the year in review or future as we look forward? Comments?
Great job.
Great job.
Good update.
All right. With that said, we'll keep moving. We'll have Mike. This is Mike's final update, right, on the expansion, Mike? Or we don't want more.
Yeah.
More expansions, but we'll take it for now. So turn it over to you, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you.
Some of our board members are new and may not know Mike. Mike is the lead representative from CAA Icon, who we hired back in August of 2020 to serve as our owner's rep for the project. And as Chairman Cantor just said, he's here to hopefully make the final project and wrap up of Baird Center expansion.
Let's close out of there.
It's not a sale.
It's not a sale, right? Yeah.
Good morning, district employees, staff, and board. Happy again to give an expansion project update. Like I already said, Jim said this is our wrap-up report. My name is Mike Abrams. CA Icon is the firm for some of the new board members that I work for. Our company is mostly in the sports industry. We do project management and owner's rep work. We've been in Milwaukee for the last 10 years. We worked on the Pfizer Forum development, and that's where we met Wisconsin Center district through that development. So we've been engaged on this project, Marty said, since the fall of 2019. So it's for the last 5 years. And we quickly went through in the fall of 19, we quickly went through the process of hiring a design team, TBS design, UA architecture, also our construction manager right away. We were tasked with coming up with a budget, coming up with a schedule right away with the first 3 or 4 months of our engagement. So it takes us back 5 years. I want to go over some of the beginning initiatives that the district discussed with us as we were starting the programming of the project. So these were must-haves of the project. We needed to increase the exhibition space from 188,000 square feet to 300,000 square feet. So we added 112,000 overall to the campus. We needed to increase the meeting room spaces from 28 to 52. So we added 24 meeting rooms, including expandable and flexible designs throughout the meeting rooms. We need to increase the loading dock capacity from 16 to 22. So we added 6 loading docks. We need to increase the on-site parking numbers. The existing was 260 outdoor spaces. We added 140, so we had 400 indoor parking spaces. We need to create a service corridor connection between the South Campus, South Building, and the North Building. So we added a connection structure over wells. We needed a new ballroom, designed preferably on the rooftop, which was accomplished. Had to be of similar size as the South Building. We needed to create a warm and collaborative entrance into the new building. So we created water features, and a collaborative staircase. We need to create inclusive environments, such as sensory rooms, mother rooms, adult changing stations. We needed to study the code upgrades for the existing South Building, which was becoming a bit old and outdated with some of the fire and life safety codes. So we updated the fire alarm system throughout the building, the south side. We needed to increase the food and beverage offerings. So we created a second marketplace, Conflux Market on the second floor. We needed to have seamless architecture in some of the finished public spaces from the south to the north as you transition, so it looks and feels as one cohesive campus. We need an abundance of outdoor programmed areas. So we have spaces along the sidewalks and terraces that can be programmed for events. We need to blend the exterior landscaping and site work areas of the main public areas of the South Building Plaza, for example, along Bel Air Phillips. We need to improve the existing streetscapes around the campus. One of our things that we added throughout the start of the project was increasing the lighting levels right here at the overpass, at the bridge on Wells. It greatly improved the lighting. You've noticed at night you can actually drive there safely. We need to train and hire local workforce. We need to partner with programs like Employ Milwaukee and WRTP Big Step, targeting the training and hiring of workforce. And we needed to partner with minority businesses, women owned businesses, and disabled veteran businesses, which we did. We need to provide opportunities for local artists, which we did. We did an outreach. We have a lot of local artists. We need to create a building that achieves LEED Gold. We're going to achieve LEED Gold. Some of the schedule overview is the next section, schedule and budget. Again, our concept design on the schedule started in late 2019. Like I said before, we're tasked with creating a budget, getting the budget approved, getting the project approved, and that was a success very soon after. In late 2021, we started demolition. We're gonna play a time-lapse video of the project. So that was 30 months of construction, about maybe 30 seconds. That was quite a video. One thing that we're pretty proud of as a team, along with collaboration of Marty and his staff, was keeping operations and events ongoing throughout the course of construction, which was a monumental task. Our construction management companies really stepped up, along with trying to find creative ideas on how to keep the existing South building up and running and safe. And that's one of the greatest accomplishments I think we had as a team overall. The budget on the project. The budget was definitely affected early market increases in 2020, 2021 when the project was being bought out. Completion of the expansion project was on time, was within the financial parameters set forth in the authorizing resolutions adopted by the district in 2020 and 2022. We had very good coverage amongst the subcontractors that did the project. That was another good success story because it was a very highly attractive project for the subcontractor community. The subcontractors that were hired also understood large projects, the complexities of the large projects, and there were a lot of partnerships and mentoring amongst our subcontractors, mentoring and joining doing joint ventures with smaller companies and really mentoring those. There's some very, very good success stories that came out of that. Community outreach events were very important early. There was an emphasis amongst the team, the Gilbane construction team and the C.D. Smith construction team to do outreach events. That was very successful. The number of workers on the project totaled 2,373. That's an amazing number. The total work hours exceeded 1.3 million work hours. There were 62 minority and women-owned businesses hired on this project. And probably the most incredible stat that I'll remember was there's only one recordable accident or incident on the project, which is an extremely low rate. So great job with safety. The current status. So since March, when the building was turned over, we received substantial completion. Obviously, we're in the warranty period, the final commissioning period. Crews have been finishing up a few loose ends since then, including some art pieces, finishing up the Conflux 2 marketplace in the south building, and then completing some of the south building architectural upgrades around some of the meeting rooms. Remaining work from here going forward, there's a few things that are still being worked on. We're planning on a waterproofing project of the loading dock that was part of the project, but due to scheduling of events and weather, that scope of work is planned here in the near future, coming in the spring. We're adding some cable management, working on some cable management systems up in the ballroom level over some of the entries. We're continuing to complete some of the painting in some of the back of house areas, and also finishing up a few loose ends on some pre-function furniture. So our warranty period on the project is 2 years. So it's going to end, we're nearing the end of the first year. We have regular warranty and meetings still with the district. And our company is still engaged throughout the warranty period. And like all of our projects and with our clients, our engagement does not end after the warranty period. You have a lifetime partner and ally to talk to about projects and your building. So we just want to extend that out. I think Marty and his staff know that. Some of the other project accomplishments. I think the Marty and his leadership staff, their involvement and the time they spent on this project was incredible on top of their day jobs. I think I've said that before in some of the other board meeting updates. I can't imagine the amount of time, and it seemed like they were working full-time on our project, and they also had a full-time job. So did an amazing job with that. Marty really set the culture for success early through transparency, collaboration, and trust. Trust goes a very long way when you're building these projects. There's so many different companies that are involved that all have to be on the same page. And Marty really set that culture early. Some of Marty's staff, his leadership and executive staff were involved with so many different parts of our project, with assisting from coming up with the programming, the coordination of the construction, the events around campus, the safety components of us doing work on campus, general communications out to the community, and maintaining an occupied facility full of events. That was huge. The other accomplishment is we selected great partners in Gilbane Construction and CD Smith, as well as TBS Design and Epstein Ewan Architects, and all the subcontractors and subconsultants underneath those firms. Everybody did a great job. The other accomplishment is overall our workforce and our business inclusion goals not only were met, but were exceeded overall. We set those goals early. We kept the goals in sight, and you have to track them very closely. Transparency for opportunities were there for workforce and for business entities, and workforce outreach events and local advertising plans were put in place early. If we really set the new standard in the city for diversity and inclusion goals. So we're really proud of that. LEED Gold, as I mentioned earlier, it takes a while after the wrap up of the project to get everything submitted into the Green Council system. That just occurred a few days ago. But we have great things to report that the consultant believes without a doubt that we're going to achieve our LEED Gold certification, and we should be expecting to see that in the next 30 days. A great accomplishment is we, about a month ago, received an award through ENR, which is the Engineering News Record, for a 2024 Regional Best Project. So the team was extremely proud of that. We went down to Chicago with the district and with our contractor, our design team, and accepted that award. So that was really a proud moment for us. So I think in recap, it starts with the culture and the trust, and our staff, Dan Jensen, Dan Weiss, Austin Timmerman, were all part of the project. We felt part of Marty's staff, and I think that once you feel like you're a part of your client's staff, an extension of that, you're going to have great success, and that's exactly how we felt. We appreciate the opportunity. Personally, I do, for the opportunity for this project. I know our company does as well. So that is our recap. I can open it up to any questions. Yes, Omar.
I just think not just a comment, like I wasn't here during the construction, but I remember walking in when it was completed, and it's just incredible. I mean, it really is. You guys collectively were incredible. So it's such a proud thing for the city to have, convention center that's going to be relevant for a long time. And two, did Marty pay you anything to say nice things about him?
Keep going.
Mention his name. Thanks, Omar.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Kind of what Omar said in terms of, center to be proud of. I was just wondering, kind of high level, from a technology standpoint, what we do here that really could be a feather in our cap that could differentiate us from not only other convention centers but even spaces here in the city. I was just wondering, because I see, for instance, just sitting in this conference room and and knowing, kind of the technology capabilities we had in the old spot compared to being here. I was just wondering, Mike, if you could highlight some of those technological advances that we have now.
Yeah, I would say I'm definitely not a technology guru. I have to turn over to our colleague Dane here on technology, but advances in technology have come a long way, I think, with audio visual systems, our security systems, integrated lighting control systems. What was a challenge anytime you expand a building and add on to a building is how do you keep the technology seamless throughout the campus from a building automation, BAS system to keep temperatures consistent, keep controls, keep documentation on everything and under the control system all consistent. That's a challenge. And we knew that early it was going to be a challenge. There was a lot of emphasis as we were starting to wrap up on keeping everything consistent and cohesive. I think might be a few bugs that we're still working out with that. But I would say like conference room technology has definitely come a long way. I think we still have some cord management issues here on this table that we still have to figure out a little bit, but things are going wireless, everywhere, Bluetooth. Those are really the big advances.
Yeah, I would just like to add, I was someone who did watch construction almost every single day because I would pass by this site literally every single day. Sometimes multiple occasions, and it truly was a well-oiled machine. I mean, I've been an amateur sidewalk superintendent since I was an intern in Chicago, and every day at lunch I would go over and watch them drill the caissons for the Sears Tower. I found it very, very interesting. So I've had a long interest in construction and construction projects purely as an amateur. Of course, leading up to the last 20 years on the City Council, where downtown has seen a great deal of development, and I've sat with many architects, many engineers, and many construction managers and bankers and lawyers. And so I've gained some appreciation of the process through absorption. And this was truly a very extremely well executed. And you and your entire group are to be congratulated, as is Wisconsin Center District staff. Because I know Marty's expertise, having worked in and managed and observed convention centers and event spaces for all of his long career, probably had many, many ideas of how they work, how they function, how they flow, what works, what doesn't work, and he's to be congratulated as well because I see his fingerprints on many of the design elements, especially of the interior.
100%.
Thanks, Bob. Mike, just a question moving forward, right? So the landscape, obviously, we had a lot of discussions to get this done, a lot of hand-wringing to make sure we got the financing and everything. But now that we did that and we have a great space here, what are the other things that you see around the nation that are popping up, and how do we continue to have a competitive advantage? Are we, because we built it when we built it, does that give us a great advantage? Are there other shovels in the ground on convention centers that you see it, or how does that work? How is it working out there?
I mean, as far as the convention center business, I'll be honest with you. I don't like our company. This is really the first convention center that we've done. We're looking for some other opportunities. But yeah, I would say, we did the benchmarking trips, and you were there, and we all looked at that a few years ago. We definitely looked at the great parts of those facilities and also the bad things that they had as well, and we made sure we didn't repeat those. I think it's the flexibility of spaces, is huge, where you can decrease size of a room, make sure you have operable partitions designed. I'd say that's not something new, but it's something that has to be, integrated into the designs. Maybe more, looking at more maybe offerings when there's not a convention. What else draws people into the facilities? Those are great questions, really, for more convention center focused folks that have seen maybe some other great examples or that are in the design. That'd be a great question for TVS Design, who's looking ahead, definitely these facilities. It's a great question.
Aaron McBride.
this isn't your thing, but I want to compliment everybody involved. I spent the better part of my life working downtown, and most of that time I was greatly disappointed in the buildings that were going up. The architecture was second rate, starting with the Calatrava and what Baird has done and Northwestern Mutual. I think this is a worthy member of that. I'm very proud to see that. I was disappointed, frankly, in the original convention center. It looked a little pasted on. This is not pasted on. This is first class. So my compliments to this addition to downtown, inside and outside.
Thank you, Mayor. Anybody else with questions or comments? All right, Mike, you're always welcome back here, right? But thank you for your efforts against this, and obviously from the feedback from the rest of the board, we thank you for your leadership in getting this done in what is now a crown jewel in this city and probably around the Midwest. So appreciate you, your team, everything they put in, the effort they put in, and likewise working seamlessly and hand in glove with Marty and his team. So I think those are the only way these things get done. So we appreciate that too.
Thank you.
Yep.
Welcome to Milwaukee's Baird Center. Here, we break with convention and stand as a beacon of innovation and accessibility. Here, your dream event is within reach. Baird Center's amenities have been catching the attention of event professionals, and the feeling of belonging you find here sets the venue apart. The top floor features the Baird Ballroom and Skyview Terrace, with breathtaking views of Milwaukee. Beyond the Wisconsin Center District, a vibrant city beckons. Discover why Milwaukee's Baird Center is the perfect location for your next meeting or convention.
Mr. Chairman, board members, I cannot overstate the importance of collaborative efforts of Mike, his on-site team, corporate icon, design team of EUA from Milwaukee, TVS out of Atlanta, the construction management teams of Gilbane, CD Smith, all of the project subcontractors, as well as the WCD leadership team, and all full and part-time staff. For the past 4 years, we have experienced lightning in a bottle every day. Not one day we ever doubt that we would achieve each of the lofty goals and objectives we set for this project. Your belief that convention business and business travel would rebound, and your confidence in the WCD team to execute the project on April 2nd of 2020 at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic was bold, proud, and truly experience obsessed. I hope you take ownership and pride of this milestone achievement of our organization. Speaking of milestones, being entrusted to lead the WCD and given the responsibility of overseeing the expansion and modernization of Baird Center has made the past 7 years a defining story for me and for my career. The grand opening and the gala on May 16th was the proudest day of my career. Thank you for giving me that. Chairman, meeting is yours.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Marty. And obviously, a lot of effort and blood, sweat, and tears has gone into that. So now, with that said, we got to keep it full. So we got to keep throwing out with all the convention.
Which you did today. Okay, thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Seth. What have you done for me, Liz? No, we appreciate it. Truly, I know the board does as well. So again, to everybody involved, full blast ahead. Make sure that we continue the success. Now, that's what this was built on, is the future success. Any other questions for Marty or Mike? All right, with that, we will move to the next portion of our agenda, which is personnel discussion. So the board may convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute S19.851C to consider the employment, compensation, or performance evaluation of certain WCD employees for which the WCD board has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. The board is expected to reconvene in open session following this agenda item. A motion to go to closed session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Right. For those on virtually, we'll take a moment to clear the room out. I would ask John Yingling to also stay in the room with us.
Use the shades.
Yeah.
Generally.
It's
like Wednesday, it might not be the best time.
I know.
It's my day next week, Monday, Tuesday. I'm like, this is gonna be on the floor for the state.
Yeah, everyone's off, I'm assuming on Monday. Okay. And it's the inauguration.
They gave us a medal.
Oh,
So that's even more later.
Yeah.
Dad was not that.
I hate them.
I know, I was telling him, I'm like, just leave it up. It's too much.
The design is nice, like the blackout room is shared. So the
Yeah.
design is nice, but like functionally, it's nice.
Yeah.
I just wanna know why we gotta have that roll.
Yeah, I don't like it
I
either.
neither.
And the nuclear lights on the pictures bars.
Everybody back. We have everybody back. I just want to lock this down. We have everybody back because I know people have schedules now. I'm trying to be sensitive to that.
But it's clear.
All right, everybody online, can you hear us?
Yes.
Good? Great. All right, so we do have one action item, seeking further discussion in closed session recommendation for the 2024 performance bonus for Marty Brooks under the employment agreement. Do we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, any opposed? Great. With that, please check your calendars, make sure we're all good, and any future meeting dates, which is, Michael has all those, and we will probably add one more, so be on the lookout for that. Any additional discussion items, please send those over to me, Marty, as we continue to go forward and make things happen here. That, I will seek a motion to adjourn.
Move it.
Do it.
Does that count? Let's do it. Is that- All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.